Yeah, so the president is right to have said that it's not a very happy moment for us, and it's a moment of reflection. 60 years on, where we are as a country is nothing to really be happy about.
Yeah, not too much. And the president, it was very significant the fact that he did take a look at the founding fathers, in addition to Dr. Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah, obviously bring into perspective all those who were part of the fight to independence.
Absolutely. You want to walk us through?
Absolutely. Now, let's get a better perspective on this and look at the road to independence. It all started with the United Gold Coast Convention, which was formed on August 4, 1947 by what we now know as the Big Six. Let's take you more on this. The Big Six were made up of Dr. Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah, who was later the first Prime Minister and became the first President of Ghana. Also, Emmanuel Obechebi Lamte was part of the founding members of the UGCC, as well as Ebenezer Akwa-Adjei. Edward Akufo-Addo was one of the founding members of the United Gold Coast Convention, and Joseph Boakye Dankwa, as well as William Ofori-Atta. Now, these 6 men together were the founders of the United Gold Coast Convention. Dr. Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah joined the UGCC in December 1947 when he was called from the United Kingdom to head the affairs of the UGCC. But later on, he founded the CPP on June 12, 1949 and headed that independently, which eventually led Ghana to independence. Now, still on this, on May 1957, a white paper which contained proposals for independence was revised. And on July 17, 1957, the CPP finally won the 1956 poll. It took 71 of the 104 seats, making Dr. Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah eventually the first president of the Republic of Ghana. And on March 6, the day we are now celebrating today, 1957, the Gold Coast won independence, changing its name to Ghana. So that's a perspective of the journey and the road to independence.
It's a clear journey that has been traveled over the period. Natalie, thank you for that brief of our independence road till now 60 years on. Thank you very much. Now, being joined in studio by the first vice chairman of the Convention People's Party, Mr. Kwame Jantua.
I used to be Now I'm not.
You are just a member of the CPP.
I used to be the Deputy General Secretary.
And now
I'm just a
member.
A floor member
of the CPP. It's grateful to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes. Now, clearly, 60 years on is not, well, the president has said that looking back, it's not something that we could be very happy about. You share the same opinion?
Yes, I do share the same opinion. I do share the same opinion because of what the CPP government then under Nkrumah did after independence, the kind of factories we brought in, the kind of education system we brought in. And at the time, we even had to get more labor in because we didn't have enough labor for the works we were doing. So yes, we have retrogressed a lot. But Ghana's history after 66 has been checkered, very checkered. And we've got to a stage where we need to get things right now. We all have to put our elbows to the wheel.
We cannot keep offering excuses. There's no more room for excuses for where we've gotten to as a people.
I totally and absolutely agree with him. There's no more room for excuses because you cannot have a system where Galamsey is just ripping the country off. You cannot have a system where children, 77% of Ghanaian youth only have BCE. It is not tenable. It's not tenable
but these are problems we know. The president talked about where the trees are right now, where our river bodies are right now. It's problems that we know already. There are people who say there's been that lack of political will to deal with the wanton destruction of our natural resources as a country. So it's not enough talking about it. There's a lot more to the action that's needed to be done to deal with these problems.
Basically, talk is cheap, isn't it? Talk is cheap. We need to get our elbows to the wheel. All of us. It's not only dependent on the president of the day. All of us. The attitudes and the way we see our country has to change. The mindset has to change.
We'll get into this a bit further. Well, but then the president, in talking about the founders, enumerated in his speech there a number of people who contributed to the independence struggle and the history we all know about. And there are many who say that the narrative seems to have overly focused on Nkrumah over the period and diminished the contributions of the other persons who contributed to the struggle for our independence as a country. Is this the position that you would subscribe to?
It is true that the UGCC brought Kwame Nkrumah in. When Kwame Nkrumah came, he realized that the kind of forcefulness that we needed to have in the system to get independence wasn't there. So he went out into the country and he galvanized people.
Do you say it wasn't there, or there was the difference in approach to a goal that was eventually achieved? So there's independence now, and independence in the shortest possible time.
The different approach to it was that the forcefulness wasn't there with the original UGCC members. And Kwame Nkrumah, after going through the country and galvanizing the youth, who became known as the CYOs, he came back to them and said, let's make them the youth group of the UGCC. And they said no. And the CYO who forced Nkrumah to leave. And when he left, he galvanized. He said, we want independence now. Now, when they were struggling, you would have thought the UGCC will, whatever the case is, join him. But that was when the challenges of even getting independence with our internal setup started. The kind of bombs that were thrown, the kind of things that were done, the kind of destruction that was going on.
Was it not to be said that it was because of the kind of approach that the president at the time, Kwame Nkrumah, was taking? Because he mentions the likes of J.B. Dankwa, William Ofoyata, Ebenezer Akweje, Manobe Chibilamte, Edward Akufo-Addo. All those people, you cannot belittle the fact that they also contributed to the independence that we have as a country.
James Mensah Saba, I think it was 1859. He was the first person who talked about we want freedom now. He was the first person. Let's bring all of them on board. Yes, I do agree that the UGCC, the Dankwas, they played their part. But as in a Usain Bolt 200 by 4 relay, who finishes? The person who finishes is the person who wins.
I have cited a letter that was written by J.B. Dankwa to Kwame Nkrumah, congratulating him for the fight against the imperialist forces at the time, and then eventually getting independence for us as a country. And he did state, and I am quoting that letter from J.B. Dankwa, that per his plan, we could have gotten independence maybe 10 years earlier than the 1957 that Nkrumah got. So the kind of approach that he was talking about, and clearly there was some kind of understanding that was lost. Consensus wasn't built over the period that led to the departure of ideas and he going the other way.
So that was 1947 when Nkrumah came in. Did we have independence then? No, we didn't. It took a great struggle and the British weren't prepared to give us independence. When Nkrumah was struggling for independence, we got these same people, the UGCC, going to the UK to tell them, don't give them independence now.
And I think one of the points of disagreements was in Nkrumah contacting the Soviet Union for help, which I think J.B. Dankwa and the likes also were not too happy about. And I'm sure you're aware of that.
Well, whether he contacted Russia, or he contacted America, or he contacted whoever, the important thing was that we needed independence. We needed independence. We needed to be self-governed. We needed to get our independence from the imperialists and the British. And that was what Nkrumah was all about.
It's clear. The President Akufo-Addo has made it very clear that he needs a certain level of consensus. And I'm quoting from the State of Nation address that he put out just about a few weeks ago, that he's going to, in his view, it's not right that after independence, issues such of importance conversation on how we name the things that are of national importance to us. And he says, and I quote, I speak of the seat of the presidency and the Founders' Day. Clearly, there is that approach to have the Founders' Day, pluralized instead of singularized to one particular person. And have it more.
I don't have a problem with pluralizing the Founders' Day and who the founders are, so far as we would identify each person's role. If we will identify each person's role, I don't have a problem. I wouldn't want a situation where you now close the role of what someone has done. Today, I expected President Akufo-Addo to actually highlight the kind of struggles Nkrumah went through to get independence. it would have just brought everything into one sphere. But that didn't happen.
Do you feel that President Kufuor subtly watered down the contributions of Nkrumah in this particular speech that he delivered today?
I think so.
Why exactly?
Because the struggle wasn't easy. The struggle of independence wasn't easy. When you look at when Nkrumah was now declaring independence, the tears that came up from his eyes, you could see that it wasn't easy.
Would you be for or against the decision to have a Founders Day having a pluralized approach than a singular one as we have it now?
I want unity in Ghana. Today, I want unity in Ghana. So I'll be for it. Let's debate it and let's not change history. But one thing we should also do, we should start teaching history back in our classrooms. Because today, our children aren't taught history. And if they are not taught history, how are they going to make sure that the future learns from what has happened in the past?
So, gentlemen, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Grateful. He is a member of the Convention People's Party, Kwame Jantua, there.